Hi, friends. Today I want to share a new story with you. I hope you enjoy it. I used to believe family was everything, that being related by blood meant we'd always stick together. But when I walked into my grandfather's empty house that evening, full of dust and silence, I started to doubt that belief. The house was supposed to be mine, my name was clearly written in my grandfather's will. But just yesterday, I got a letter saying the house had been sold without telling me, without asking me. My hand shook as I turned the doorknob, the wooden floor creaked under my feet, and the smell of old books and leather filled the air. This house held so many memories: holiday nights by the fireplace, my grandfather's gentle laugh, the stories he told about the home's past. But now, it was all gone. I walked into his study, my heart pounding. My mom, Liliana, and my brother, Caden, had told me they had no other choice, that the family needed money. It was necessary, they said. We did it for everyone. But their words felt empty, and their voices sounded strange, like they were hiding something. I ran my hand across my grandfather's desk, opening drawers, hoping to find something, anything, to prove this wasn't real, that it was all a big mistake. Then I saw it. An envelope, hidden under a pile of old papers. My name was written on it in my grandfather's handwriting. I held my breath as I opened it. Matthew, if you're reading this, something has gone terribly wrong. I always worried that greed would tear our family apart. There's something you need to see. Go to the garden, the third stone from the fountain. Dig under it, you'll find what you need. A chill ran down my spine. My grandfather had never been someone who worried too much, so if he left me a message like this, he must have known something bad was going to happen. I heard a creak behind me and quickly turned around. Caden was standing in the doorway, arms crossed, his face hard to read. "What are you doing here?" he asked. I slipped the letter into my pocket. "Maybe I should be asking you that." My voice stayed steady, but my heart was racing. He let out a long breath. "I came to make sure you don't do something stupid." I stepped closer to him. "Like what?" "Stand up for what's mine." His jaw clenched. "Just drop it, Matthew." I laughed bitterly. "Drop it? Grandfather left me this house, and you, and Mom, took it away." He looked down. "You don't get it. It's more complicated than you think." I pushed past him, brushing his shoulder. "We'll see about that." Without saying another word, I walked to the garden, holding the letter in my pocket tightly like it was the only thing I could trust. When I reached the spot my grandfather mentioned, I dug and found a small box. Inside was a sealed envelope. On it were the words, written in his handwriting. "Matthew, open this after you figure it out for yourself." Later, I sat in lawyer Cora Stevens' office, gripping the chair while she looked over the papers with a sharp eye. "Matthew," she said, finally looking up, "this sale wasn't just unfair, it was illegal." My heart jumped. "Illegal?" She nodded and pointed to a line in the contract. "Your grandfather made it clear, this house couldn't be sold without your written permission, and yet." She slid a paper over to me. My name was at the bottom, signed in ink. Only, I never signed anything. A chill ran through me. "That signature's fake." Cora's face grew serious. "Then we need to act quickly. If we can prove this is fraud, we can cancel the sale, but we'll need solid proof. The buyer, Charlie Butler, will want answers." Just then, her assistant walked in looking pale. "Miss Stevens. Charlie Butler is here, and he's angry." The door opened fast, and a large man in a sharp suit stormed in, clearly furious. "Someone better explain how the house I bought might not even be mine," he said, eyes locked on me. "Are you Matthew Caldwell?" I stood. "Yes, and I never agreed to sell my grandfather's house." Charlie let out a frustrated sigh, rubbing his jaw. "Then who did I give my money to?" Cora answered calmly. "We believe Matthew's family faked his signature. If that's true, the sale is invalid." Charlie's eyes narrowed. "You better prove that. I don't like being tricked." As he spoke, my phone buzzed with a new email. The subject line made my blood run cold. "You should have stayed quiet." I clenched my fists. This wasn't just about the house anymore. Someone didn't want me digging deeper. Back at my apartment, I stared at an email Cora had forwarded. It changed everything. It was from Charlie's legal team, a message thread between my mom and the real estate agent. "We'll move forward once the boy is out of the way. He won't fight if he doesn't know." I gritted my teeth. They had planned this for months. A knock at the door pulled me out of my thoughts. It was my sister, Liliana. She looked tense and pale. She walked in without waiting. You have to stop, Matthew, she said sharply. I crossed my arms. Stop what? Trying to fix the mess you all made? She hesitated, then sighed. You don't get it. Mom and Dad planned to sell the house without telling you. Oh, I get it, I said, shoving my phone toward her. Explain this. She read the screen, then swallowed. It's complicated. Make it simple, I said, my voice cold. She looked down. The family business is falling apart, Matthew. They were desperate. Selling the house was the fastest way to get money. Her words hit me hard. So you just decided to betray me? Liliana shook her head. Caden handled the paperwork. I didn't know he'd fake your signature. I stepped back, stunned. Caden forged it? She nodded, avoiding my eyes. He said we had no other choice. A heavy feeling settled in my chest. My own brother had committed fraud. Before I could speak, my phone buzzed again. A new message. No name. There are secrets in that house. Let it go, or you'll regret it. I looked up at Liliana, my voice cold and sharp. What's really going on? She went pale. And in that moment, I knew. This wasn't just about the money anymore. I burst into my parents' house, my head spinning with anger and shock. The fake signature. The secret emails. The threats. It was all too much. Liliana followed behind me, quiet. Her silence felt worse than everything else. Caden was sitting in the living room, sipping whiskey with his legs crossed. When he saw me, his smirk disappeared. You lied to me, I said, my voice low and sharp. He sighed and put his glass down. Matthew, just let me explain. No, you listen. I pulled out my phone and hit play. It was the recording Cora had sent me, his voice, cold and clear, talking about the forgery with the real estate agent. Caden's jaw tightened. Damn it, Matthew, you don't get it. Then make me understand, I said, trying to stay calm. He rubbed his face with both hands, clearly stressed. The company's going under. Mom and Dad are drowning in debt. If we didn't get that money, they would have lost everything. I had no choice. I stared at him, disgusted. You committed fraud. You stole from me. Caden jumped to his feet, the chair scraping loudly. So what was I supposed to do? Let them go bankrupt? Watch everything fall apart? They did this to themselves, I said, and now you've dragged me into it. Liliana's voice was soft. There's something else. Caden glared at her, but she went on anyway. The company, it's under federal investigation. Fraud charges. I froze. What? She looked nervous. They've been hiding money, faking numbers, for years, and now the government is closing in. Caden slammed his hand on the table. You weren't supposed to say anything. You knew? I said, stepping closer. You didn't just fake my name, you knew it was all a scam? Caden's breath was shaky. He looked like he was about to break. It's complicated, he muttered. Later, the hotel hallway smelled like stale coffee and fancy cologne. Liliana and I crouched outside a conference room, my phone recording everything inside. We heard our parents' voices, low, tense. The house is gone. We don't have a choice, Mom said. We need to get the paintings before Matthew finds them. My heart raced. Paintings? Caden's voice followed. 3.5 million, hidden under the floor. If we move them before the government freezes our accounts, we'll be fine. Liliana gripped my arm, eyes wide. They lied to us too, she whispered. They didn't want to save the company, just themselves. I stood up. I'd heard enough. I pushed the door open. My parents froze. Their faces went pale. Looking for these? I held up my phone, the recording still playing. My mother's face twisted. Matthew, you don't understand. Oh, I understand, I said. You forged my name, you sold my house, and now you're trying to run off with stolen art? My father lunged at me, reaching for the phone, but before he got close, the doors burst open. Hands up, an officer yelled. Police rushed in. My parents gasped as handcuffs clicked around their wrists. Caden didn't fight, he just stood there, defeated. As they were taken out, my mom looked back at me, her eyes were full of something I couldn't read. You weren't supposed to find out. I stared right at her. But I did. Weeks later, the house was mine again. The paintings, stolen long ago, were returned to the rightful owners. Standing in the garden, I opened one last letter from my grandfather. Matthew, if you're reading this, then the truth is out. I always believed you'd do what's right. This house, this legacy, It was never about money, it was about family. I hope someday, you'll build one you can truly call your own. I breathed out slowly, finally feeling free. Hey friends, what did you think of this story? Tell me in the comments. Want more stories like this? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. See you tomorrow.